Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are back here at Walker Ford, sunny Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that compact SUV that Ford has made some changes for 2023 to combat a little bit better against the big boys. This is it. This is a 2023 Ford Escape. This particular one is an ST line Elite trim. But before we get into this all-wheel drive turbocharged Escape, let's talk about what's going on here. One of the hottest segments in the whole auto industry has got to be the compact crossover SUV. That's really where the RAV4 made a name for itself, the CR-V, and of course, all the rest of the competition. Now, in this segment, vehicles have changed. I remember the first RAV4, it looked so much different than the current RAV4. And same thing with this Escape. Even though the Escape has been around for a few generations now, it is finally, I think, coming a little bit into its own. Now, of course, those big key players are still there, and Ford wants to outsell them. But what I want to find out is, looking at one of the main players, the mighty Mazda CX-5, do you go with this turbocharged Escape, or should you stick with that CX-5? Remember, the CX-5 does have turbocharged power and also all-wheel drive. So let's go ahead, let's dive into our Ford Escape and find out. Right off the bat, the refresh. I think the refresh has done this vehicle very well. On the top Elite trim, you're gonna have full LED lighting, and they did a phenomenal job with how they added a little attention to detail to the daytime running lamps, the LED turn signals, and the headlights. Great news is, on this top trim, instead of that big black plastic area, you actually get real deal LED fog lamps on both sides. And then on our particular model, with the black, it all blends in very nicely, that black on black. Now, as we come across the new shape grille, got away from that, I know some people were calling it a Porsche Macan style to the grille. They got away from that. Love the way they took the daytime running lamp and brought it all the way across horizontally. In the midsection, you got the Ford badge, forward-facing camera, gloss black upper grille, flat black lower grille with just a little bit of silver. But let me know how you feel about the style of this vehicle. It's crazy because the CX-5 did a refresh. It wasn't like a major refresh like this one has, but they did a refresh, but yet the CX-5 still looks timeless. CX-5, the current design, has basically been around since 2016, if you could believe that, and it still looks great. Let me know how you feel between this and the CX-5. Now, when we get up onto the hood, same hood as Escapes from the previous model year. And then when we come around the bend, if we got some new grills and new front fascia, of course, we're gonna have new wheels. So you have this machined aluminum, gloss black wheel. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? You got 19-inch wheels, and this particular model has all-wheel drive. So, of course, an Escape is front-wheel drive based. This one does send power to the rear wheels. All CX-5s, especially the turbocharged ones, are standard with all-wheel drive. Just something that you should know for 2023. You do have everything painted around the fender opening, and then coming down the side, we do have the ST line package. This is a sporty style with some black accents, different wheels, just to kind of spruce things up. Coming down the rest of the vehicle, you got color matched on the mirror caps, color matched on the door handles, and everything is painted on the lower end of things. No flat black plastic. The only thing that's flat black are these very close to the roof rails. Other than that, everything has been painted nicely. All of the rest of the vehicle from the side is the same as a 2022, besides the wheels, just so you know. Now, swinging it around back, what do we got going on here? They actually gave it a great looking rear spoiler. Love the way they extended it out, especially the way you got these two dips on both sides of it. That raises a question of, should they have taken the wiper and just put it underneath? Now, if you're saying, well, Joe, do any compact crossover SUVs have the wiper that's hidden where it swings down? Yes, there's one and one only. That's the Hyundai Tucson. Let me know how you feel about that. You do have your LED taillights, which are nice. New for 2023. The Escape badge should have been in black. If this is an ST line, all this shiny bit should be blacked out. But what's great news is we got all-wheel drive. I like the way they hid the DOT required reflectors. And then looking at the lower bumper area, just a little bit of flat black, and you are gonna get an exhaust outlet on each side, slash cut stainless steel tip, just to give it a little bit of extra sporty style. But while we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower of this changed up Escape. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. All of the competitors have a prop rod, so we're not gonna zonk that. And the good news is, I know a lot of you were very unhappy with the couple of 2023 Escapes we already brought to you with the inline 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine. This is the 2-liter EcoBoost engine. Now, you may not think it makes a big difference, but boy oh boy does it. So you have, of course, a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 putting out 250 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic. So unlike vehicles like the CR-V, no CVT transmission. All-wheel drive makes this thing go 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. Top speed is governed to 126 miles an hour. It weighs 3,731 pounds. MPGs, 23 in the city, 31 on the highway. And like I said, here on Rady's Rides, we like to bring the different trims. We also like to make sure we bring the different engine options. And this is definitely the one that I would vote for. All right, guys, we are inside this 2023 Ford Escape ST Line Elite. They got rid of the way that they do the trim levels on the previous model year. Now they have 3 trims, keep it straightforward with the ST Line package that could be added. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking at CX-5s. The problem is that I grew up in a Ford family, and I feel like if I get a Mazda CX-5, my family might not like me anymore. But I'm very curious about the price on this Escape. How much is it? So MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, you're looking at $43,000. Let's see how it compares to the mighty CX-5. To the door panels. Soft touch material, some faux carbon fiber style. I guess it looks okay. It's better than just regular gloss black. And then they kind of took some grooves and put those triple grooves in there. I wish they would have put some red stitching in those grooves. I think it just would have make it look a little bit more fancy. They did give you the red stitching though on that soft armrest. We got the optional B&O sound system. And then check out the door pocket. You got a bottle holder that's large enough for a big old Bigfoot can or a Yeti can, however you prefer your big cans. And then you do have a pocket there where you could slide a couple tacos from Taco Bell, maybe a Nachos Grande or something like that. Now going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch material. There's that carbon fiber trim because of this being an ST line and being the Elite trim. And then this is the new talking point. That's an over 13-inch infotainment system screen. And guess what? Full touchscreen capability. My only zonk is there's no physical buttons. Everything is within the screen. Now I know a lot of you, it's the opposite on the CX-5, where the CX-5 isn't a touchscreen and you got to use a direct drive control knob. My big challenge and what makes it cumbersome are things like the AC controls. You actually have to slide your finger. When you're sitting in a parking lot, not a big deal. When you're driving at 70 miles an hour and the kids are screaming at you that they're hot, that might be a big deal. Heated steering wheel. You do have 3 stages of heated seats, but no ventilated seats. And I feel like at this price point, maybe some ventilated seats are in order. I better shut this off because I'm already hot as it is. We don't want that anymore. You got, of course, your full navigation and everything. I throw it into reverse. Takes up most of the screen, which I'm very happy to say. Trajectory, 360-degree camera, which is nice. Working our way down, same AC vents. You got your bright silver start-stop button. Shut off that pesky auto start-stop feature. You got your different modes. I'll show you that when you get to the business side. This is for your forward-facing camera. There it is out the front. You can see the manhole cover. That's where the Ninja Turtles live. And I remember when I used to teach history, especially world history, that's how you teach the Renaissance men. Tell them to memorize the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Duh. Down below, what do we got going on? Wireless charging, USB-C, USB-A, a 12-volt, and a place to put a small Hostess cupcake. 2 cup holders. This guy right here is going to control your 8-speed automatic transmission. I like the way they did this texturized black plastic. It's better than just it being flat, and it's better than gloss black. This is what I'm talking about when I think manufacturers should use other materials. You do have your standard 4-key fob. Gets the job done with remote start. Soft material on the armrest with the red stitching. Open it up. You got enough room in there. I would say you could put 2 balls. No not what you're thinking. 2 magic 8 balls, because what's great is about a magic 8 ball, if you have any tough life decisions, that's where you ask the magic 8 ball. Like, I remember Steven was on the fence about becoming a videographer here on Rady's Rides. So what did he do? He took out his balls, he shook them around, and what the magic 8 ball said was, hell yeah. So here we are. Seats. Love the material, red stitching. They got fancy on this stitching in the center. I like to see this kind of attention to detail. Full power assist for the passenger, full power assist for the driver. I think the one zonk that you're gonna add is what? No sunroof. $43,000. I wanna see the damn sun. But why don't you come over here on the business end? I wanna show you behind the flat bottom steering wheel on this Escape. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. What's interesting is when you go ST line, you do get the aluminum pedals, aluminum brake pedal, and aluminum throttle. I'm gonna see if I can remove this because the aluminum is not blue. Let's make it look cohesive. There it is, aluminum throttle, aluminum brake pedal. Nice large dev pedal, just would have been nice if it was aluminum. There's your seat controls, plenty of adjustability there for you, even the lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall, and even though these things are compact, it's not like it was back in the 1980s. When you said compact, you were compact like in a sardine can. This is how you would drive, like that. Now compact has a totally different meaning where you got lots of room and large infotainment system screens. Steering wheel though, it actually looks pretty damn sporty. Flat bottom, red stitching, 2 different kinds of leather. The one thing that kills it, can you guess? This right here. Give me a good looking horn button, Ford. You can keep your name there, just do something with this area. It is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and then you got that new large 12-inch digital display that you could go into your different modes very, very easily, and that allows you to be able to do just about anything with the vehicle in the center there. I like the power distribution. That's kind of cool for the all-wheel drive. That's going to be a nice thing to experience while you're driving, but very interesting setup there with how the vehicle is, and you got a head-up display. But the problem is, I'm gonna zonk it, and Steven, can we show them why we're zonking it? It's the old-fashioned, where the motorized plastic plate lifts up, and then you have your head-up display. So kind of crazy that they went old school with new technology. Doesn't make sense to me. But why don't you go ahead, let's get in the back seat with me and see how much room there is for your passengers in this Escape. All right, guys, back seat time, and it's interesting because it's comfy, but I don't know, I feel like I'm sitting back when I was in elementary school. The teachers used to say, sit like this, upright in your chair. So I don't know, it's not like super comfy. Let's see if we could change that. Oh yeah. See, now right there, now we're sitting like we were back when I was in high school. You know, you just sit down on the desk, lower and lower so that the teacher doesn't call on you. But that's the great news about the Escape, is that you do have the seats that do have some recline on both sides. You get the same great soft material. Look at that. That's the noise it makes because of how squishy it is. Back seat area, you do have your 2 large AC vents and down below 2 USB-Cs. This is where you're gonna keep your abacus when you're trying to do your math. You know, it's one of those things that math teachers were right. Solve the math first with your mind, then you get to use a calculator, not the other way around. Flip that down, soft on the armrest, 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the cargo area because I want to take this little 250 horsepower compact SUV for a spin. Let's get back there. All right, guys, time to get into that trunk area. Hit the button underneath the word Escape. What you're gonna be greeted to is actually quite a good amount of cargo room. So what are we looking at? You're looking at 34 cubic feet of space with the seats up. I like the way they have a nook here for a big old Yeti can. Maybe you got your hot chocolate in there on a chilly, cold camp day. You got your 12 volt. On the opposite side, we have another area for another Yeti can, which is wonderful. And then the one zonk, the major zonk, is that for me to put down the seats, which they are a 60-40 split, you gotta go over to the passenger door. And that's why I don't feel like folding them down, because I don't wanna walk over there. But those seats do fold down. It would have been nice, like they have on the CX-5, to have a lever here, and you just go doop, push it down, and then you're ready to rock and roll. What do we got under the floorboard? You do get a spare, and you got a little, look at this. This is for your emergency box of Twinkies. Perfectly placed right there for you. That's the rest of it, but if you're ready, I'm ready. We got turbocharged power and all-wheel drive. Let's go on throttle in this Escape. All right, guys, we are in this 2023 Escape. This is, like I said, that top trim ST line Elite. I'm gonna come to a stop because nobody's behind us. I have it in sport mode. On throttle, here we go. Nice. Nice shifts from the 8-speed. And like I said, 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. That's a very respectable time in the compact crossover SUV class. It would have been fun if Ford made an Escape ST, full performance crossover SUV. Now, when you go into your different modes, it does change the screen setting. You do have the head-up display, but like I said, kind of odd that Ford kept the older style mechanical flip-up of a plastic screen there. That kind of, I don't know, that takes away some of the magic from looking at the head-up display. But the seats are comfy, and the great news is you're still gonna get plenty of room in here. The one thing I was just hoping for was a sunroof, which a sunroof you do not get. But if you need a smaller crossover SUV and you want to have some sportiness to it, I think that this new Escape ST line has some decent style to it, but also having that turbocharged 250 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, and the all-wheel drive. Materials are soft. For the backseat passengers, this top portion is hard as a rock, so that definitely is a zonk. But I do like how when it comes to the drive modes, you could easily access it on the touchscreen by pressing the button, the physical button in that lower cluster by the volume knob, and then it changes your dash and it changes the screen, which is kind of neat. Steering wheel feels really wonderful. Some of the things that are probably gonna turn you off, or I'm not really a big fan of the stalks for the turn signals and the wipers. They just feel a little rental car-esque. But the seats, I'm telling you, do one hell of a job with the infotainment system screen of really bringing this interior alive in this updated Escape. All right, guys, here we go. On throttle. Like I said, it gets the power to the ground very nicely. Suspension is very well sorted in this to where you're gonna have a comfy ride, but it's not too mushy, which is good, but we'll see how she handles in a turn when we get to the U-turn area coming up, and we'll see how she handles in the corners. But driving on the highway here, very smooth, very comfortable. That's the nice thing, is you got great visibility out the windshield, great visibility out the back. You got all the Ford safety features, the full suite of safety features, including blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, all those goodies. And for the most part, it's actually very quiet in the cabin. They did a great job with the sound deadening. But let's see how she handles in this turn section coming up. It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of work they did with the steering in this vehicle, and how everything else is balanced. But we're gonna go on throttle here, and then we're gonna see how it goes. On throttle, gets the power to the ground very, very well, so that's the good news. But as you can see, what's wonderful is that people just drive however which way they want. Turn signals, no turn signals, whatever they want to do. That's usually the typical Florida driver, but there's not too much body sway or body roll in the corners. I mean, there is some, because this is not a full high performance SUV, but enough to where you're gonna feel connected without being too over the top. And really, it's gonna come down to, do you want a little bit more driving engagement? If you want the driving engagement, I would go CX-5. If you want more technology, especially when it comes to the infotainment system screen, I would go with this Escape, just because of how you're getting that nice large touchscreen, because that seems to be everybody's complaint with the Mazda vehicles, is that they don't have touchscreens. I personally don't care, but I know a lot of you do. So let me know in the comment section how you're feeling about that. But I think if you're gonna go Escape, whatever way you're gonna go, you need to go with the 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. The power, the torque really works well with the 8-speed in this vehicle and feels good. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another magical day here at Walker Ford. Definitely got to thank Frank Walker, Weston Walker, Tracy, the Gooch, Mark, and everybody else for getting us access finally to the top trim, top motor in this Ford Escape. Let me know what you think. Are you going CX-5 or are you going with what Ford is bringing with this updated Escape? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rise family. Of course, we need to give it up Stephen Flood Photography. In the next upcoming months, him and I will be going to SEMA. It will be his cherry breaking experience at SEMA. So stay tuned for all the gushiness from Stephen and from me here on Radius Rise. Thank you for your hard work, Stephen. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.